let's start off with Zion Williamson, because he came out in his exit interview with the Pelicans. He talked to the media, and a reporter asked him a question: would you sign an extension if it was offered to you? Zion at first was like, wait, say that again? Say that again? Zion said, say that again, almost like 3 times. The reporter asked the question again, and Zion said, of course, I couldn't sign it fast enough. Now, that led a lot of people to speculating about Zion's future and whether he wants to be there. I know throughout the year that's been a big-time headline, and David Griffin came out and said that there are some concerns about extending him long-term because of his health. Now, what do you think about Zion saying this? How good can the Pelicans be next season? I know we talked about it with Lowe when he was on the show that they maybe should consider trading Zion. So what do you think, Riv?
Well, I was reading up on the reports. Brian Windhorst, I'm sure he's a okay, guy to trust. But he said they're gonna give him a similar deal to what they give Embiid in 2017. Just the only difference is Embiid and the Sixers were on the same page. So it's gonna come with some restrictions. It might not come with the full 5 years. It might not come with a team option or a player option. But that's just what I read. New Orleans should be excited. This is probably the first good buzz they've had in a while. They should definitely be excited about this team. They have Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. Then they have C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Larry Nance Jr., Jackson Hayes. So a good combination of youth, a couple guys with experience, so they should definitely be excited about this team. Zion coming in, it's going to be weird. This is a guy who offensively, he's great. But defensively, he's pretty much a problem. He can't guard. He has pigeon feet. He struggles to move. But I think as an off-ball defender, he can be really good. Maybe he can be a help side defender. It's still, he hasn't played much, so it's really hard to gather what he's going to be. But I think, looking at it just from a point-blank view, you look at the roster, you add Zion, this team should be a top 6 team in the West, top 6, top 7. It should be a playoff team. Brandon Ingram should take the next step next year. You still have guys with a chip on their shoulders as rookies. They'll also have another pick in this draft. If I'm not mistaken, they have the Lakers pick. So they'll definitely have a pick. So that's another guy that they could bring in that's a immediate impact player.
Or trade it and package it for a player.
Who would you package with it, though? Devontae Graham?
Yeah. I don't think they need Devontae Graham after Jose Alvarado.
They don't. But who needs Devontae Graham?
Next.
There are some teams that could use Devontae Graham. Just off a spark, plug off the bench.
He be bugging sometimes, though. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're in a good spot, though. They're like one of the real good spots where I don't see how they can make a mistake, because even if they do trade Zion, they're going to get a lot back. So for me, the Pelicans look really good. I think for Zion, though, the situation is going to be, and I understand Griffin's point of view, because it's his health is a big concern. He hasn't played much, and his potential is sky high. But if he doesn't play, how much can you really bank on him? You have Brandon Ingram, who's sitting right there, and you've seen when you give him the keys, he was great in the playoffs. They won a couple games. C.J. McCollum was a guy who stepped up big for them. Then, like I said, the undrafted guys, the guys who did get drafted late, they played impressive too. So it's really going to be up to Zion. But all in all, this is pretty good for the Pelicans, and I think Zion saying this means he's, in a sense, committed to at least trying it out. Saying if not trying it out, take the money and at least try it for a year. I think that guarantees them a year with Zion to see if it works. So that's where I'm at with this.
One thing you didn't touch on, they're getting Zion back.
You're going to touch on it, I'm assuming.
They're getting the duality of him and CJ. The last time he played his backcourt was Lonzo and Eric Bledsoe. And now you're bringing in CJ, who is the best perimeter player outside BI from that backcourt. And that shooting, the dynamic ball handling, him slivering through pick and roll, that's something he has just not played with in the NBA or in college. So now you add that into the offense, and then defensively, they've added in several. Herb Jones is maybe the best defensive wing rookie I've ever seen. And then you have Jose Alvarado as well. Those two guys, defensively,
off the top of my head,
way
right.
better.
You're probably right. Off the top of my head. Yeah, you're probably right. Since maybe Kawhi? Yeah, you probably are.
Herb Jones is a top 3 perimeter defender in the NBA right now.
All right. Come on.
Who's better?
Top 3.
Yeah.
Smart. Bridges. Maybe Lou Dortz.
Lou Dort's not a better defender.
Well, Matisse Thybulle, but does nothing offensively. So it's
I don't know. Just saying that, I would have to think about
Herb Jones.
Well, because offensively, you
think it's that far off between him and Marcus Smart?
He just won Defensive Player of the Year.
I know, but like, no, seriously.
No, seriously, come on.
No,
no.
We know if
don't
Rob
do
Will
that.
was healthy, he was gonna get that award.
No,
Most likely.
we didn't.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Why are we
They gave it to Marcus Smart.
the show like this?
They gave it to Marcus Smart because he was the best defensive player on the best defensive team, and Rob Will got hurt. Let's keep it a buck.
Why are we doing?
If Rob Will was healthy, he probably wins
So you think
DPOY.
Herb Jones top 3 defender in the league right now?
No, Wayne defender.
If he's not top 3, he's top
Drew
5.
Holiday.
Marcus Smart was out for game 2, and
So I'm asking,
Celtics did just fine.
Drew
without him
Holiday is
defensively.
Drew Holiday or Herb Jones?
I mean, he's a better one-on-one defender, but like in total, like Herb Jones' length and athleticism.
I mean,
is
so you're talking
something
versatility.
Drew
I
can't.
can say Bam.
Well, we're not talking about bigs. I was talking about wing defenders.
I mean, Bam.
Perimeter defenders.
Perimeter defenders, Drew.
Point of attack
Bam's-
defenders.
Point of attack is Drew.
Okay, he's top 5. So I would take Drew. I respect Marcus Smart.
Bridges, you have to take
Bridges, yeah. Herb Jones is top 5, bro.
That's fair.
He's better. I think he's a better defender than Thibault and Dort.
Well, Matisse. I mean,
Thibault, they're like the same. It's just offensively, Herb Jones is better.
He's way better.
Yeah, I think defense, they're kind of built around the same thing, though, honestly. All right. I could dig with that. That was just like, when you first hear it, it's like, whoa.
You know that's facts, though.
I've never seen that from like, he's 22, 23.
23.
Right? Yes, I mean, you kind of would hope, even though he was a second-round pick, you would hope he'd be NBA ready from the jump. He clearly is. You have him and Jose. Defensively, it's way better than what it was with Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo.
Isn't that weird in the NBA how first round picks tend to be more project players, and then later picks tend to be guys that you expect to be ready right away?
Because the later picks are usually the older guys, the guys who play 3 to
Villanova
4
boys.
years, the guys who play 3 to 4 years. You know, the guys who go to the playoff teams, because you don't want youth on the playoff team because they can't develop.
Did I not spit facts though about Rob Will and the DPOY thing?
He would have been most likely to win.
I didn't touch on that because I don't want to get into the back and forth with that.
You know that was true though.
And I honestly don't know.
Because if Rob Will was healthy, I think he would have got probably the nod.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real. If he probably was healthy, Bridges would have got it.
Okay.
Bridges would have probably got it.
So
then
you're
it would've
telling me that they only gave it to Smart because of the injury plus
been, well, it's just
best
him
defensive
getting
player on the best team.
him getting hurt probably made him Marcus Smart stand out a little more. But
Yeah,
since
it
they're
did.
both, it's like when you have 2 MVPs on the same team, you can't give it to one. You know, so they probably would have gave it to Bridges.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, listen, with me and Zion in this report and what Zion said, I've said it on the show all along. I've never said once, whenever there was reports about Zion wanting out, I always questioned, where are these coming from? What's the validity of this source? Can we really trust it? Does Zion really want out? Because all he's ever said is that he wants to be in New Orleans. He's never demanded a trade. And I think this year, this has been an odd year, I think, in terms of NBA reporting and how they've been reporting on players. Zion is hurt, and all of a sudden, the media covers him as if he quit on his team. The same thing with Ben Simmons. We just saw him get back surgery. We'll talk about that later. Ben Simmons is hurt, and the narrative around him is that he quit on his team. The reporting is this season has been very sloppy in how we cover these players. Zion was away from the team. He didn't text CJ because he was dealing with his foot injury. He was rehabbing, and usually you're not with the team when you're dealing with that sort of type of injury. I never thought Zion wanted out of the Pelicans. I think he wants to be there. He was quoted and he said, just seeing the potential, we got a lot of great young pieces. I'm excited to get on the court with these guys. And they do. CJ playing point guard, B.I., Zion, Herb Jones, Valanciunas. This past season, this team was my pick to be the surprise team of the NBA. But then we heard Zion wasn't going to play. And I said, you know what? I'm switching Minnesota. We know how right I turned out on that. I think the Pelicans will be the surprise team of the NBA next season. With Zion, I don't know how much of a surprise it's going to be because I think you can make the argument they were a surprise this season, making the playoffs and taking Phoenix to 6 games. But they're going to be a top six team in the West, and with Zion on this team, the sky's the limit. Offensively, I don't worry much about it. Zion is one of those players that can fit with anybody. He's not a ball-dominant player. Stan Van Gundy played him in that role in his second season, and then he had a historic year. But as a rookie, he played off the ball, and he averaged 20. I think Zion can play off the ball, on the ball. He's going to be a great roller. He's going to be a great offensive rebounder and get a lot of putback baskets. Defensively is where I worry. How is he going to fit into the culture that the Pelicans have built defensively. But I think he'll do just fine. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He'll figure it out.
It's funny because usually the freak athletes are the ones that struggle the most with defensive instincts and stuff like that, when they're the ones who should be locking up everybody. It's kind of crazy.
I think Zion has the instincts, though. Shot blocking, his instincts as a blocker.
I think he has the wrong instincts. Honestly, I don't like shot blocking is like okay, but like I feel like on the perimeter he really struggles like a lot, and it shouldn't be the case because his recovery speed is kind of crazy. But I don't know. That's tough. That's your sleeper team. That's the team.
He struggles because his feet are slow.
He's also this kind of lost a lot of the time too on that end, and he can't move well in space a lot of the time with guards. So your surprise team in 2023. Does that include the postseason or just the regular season, like Memphis at the gate this year, or the Knicks and the Hawks last year?
You can't really predict postseason success until you see matchups. So I'll say it's a regular season surprise team. It's going to be a team.
Are they really going to surprise anybody though?
That's why I said I don't think they will, because they already put people on notice with what they did in the playoffs, specifically BI. People already see the Pelicans coming right now. Last year, nobody saw Minnesota. I'm trying to think of another team that nobody saw Memphis making this big of a jump. Nobody saw Cleveland making a playoff push. People are going to expect things out of the Pelicans, especially if Zion is healthy. But they should live up to all those expectations.
A Jonas Valanciunas Zion frontcourt defensively sounds like a nightmare. That's why I say that.
Doesn't sound too awful.
That does.
It does. Why is Jonas Valanciunas in New Orleans right now? What happened when he was with... No, Jaren was like in and out of the lineup in the 2021 series against Utah, but like Jonas was barbecue chicken on defense. It's getting cooked. Him and Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen got traded to Milwaukee. What's going on with Grayson Allen right now? Jaylen Brown was cooking him in game 2.
Not Jaylen Brown against Grayson Allen, though.
Valanciunas is a weird guy to me. I don't know. I feel like sometimes...
He's a walking double-double.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes in the series they tried to force the ball to him in certain mismatches, and it just didn't work. Like, it just wasn't their offense. So maybe they could package him, you know. Jackson Hayes is good.
DeAndre Ayton outplayed Valanciunas.
Oh, clearly. But
there were games where Valanciunas was giving it to him, too.
Yeah, the rebounding, obviously.
Would you start Hayes at the 5?
No, he's more at 4. That was where he was best this year.
That's where he was at his best, but I think he's starting to develop into...
it depends on that 3 ball, how much his shot develops, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a lot of lineup versatility.
Mance was good at the 5 in spurts.
He was.
Mance was really
I mean, the
good.
Pelicans have a lot of options, and Valanciunas, I think he's a free agent, if not this season, next season.
Next.
So because of that, they have options on what to do this offseason. They have all the talent, though. I think in terms of their wings, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, they're going to develop nicely. Yeah. They already have BI. The missing piece is simply Zion for them to take that next step. And I think he will be that guy for them. You know, I know everybody wants to rag on Zion, but I mean, when he played, he was historic.
Would you go get a Miles Turner?
I feel like Miles Turner is a name that gets brought up whenever a team's looking for a center.
Because I feel like that's just like the blueprint of a defensive center that can shoot. So I always just say him. But like a type of player like him, you know?
Yeah, if they can get him, I think that would be huge.
Because you could maybe package Valanciunas in a pick, throw it at Indiana, like, hey, look, you know, we're ready to compete. You're not, clearly. We'll give you this pick and Valanciunas. You can free off some cap. Give us Miles.
There's more picks to unload, certainly.
Oh, all right. Look, beautiful.
And I don't even think the Pelicans could use the first-round pick they have currently. Unless maybe they get Jalen Duren.
He could possibly fall. Not even him. They can get somebody else.
A point guard, Ty Washington.
Oh, God.
They already have Carol Lewis. He doesn't play.
Please don't get Ty. Please don't. No.
I think the Pelicans roster as it is now, they don't need to add another rookie.
They got like 8-9 guys right now.
Yeah. Unless they need to add another rookie.
If they trade Devontae, they can bring up, they'll have a lottery pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they'll have a lottery pick. So
they're Charlotte's too, so they got 2.
Oh my God, damn.
So they can definitely package that for a primetime player.
Yeah. Would you bring in another primetime player?
I mean, I'm talking about like a Miles Turner, you know. Like,
my fault. You said primetime.
I think he's
yeah, they got
You don't think he's primetime?
Nah, primetime is crazy. Miles is like, he's been Miles forever. They'll be good though. Pelicans are in a great position. I ain't gonna front. Like, they're in a really great position.